through the trees. I know that we were closer than most. So when I'm sad, I summon your ghost, like a ripple on a pond, like a presence from beyond. I don't need my eyes for seeing when I can breathe your very being. I always know when you're here with me. I drown in your ubiquity. Just when I think you'll stay for a while, you'll leave me like a helpless child, like the flight of autumn leaves, like the chimes of New Year's Eve. I don't need my eyes for seeing when I can breathe your very being. I always know when you're here with me. I drown in your ubiquity. I don't need my eyes for seeing when I can breathe your very being. I always know when you're here with me. I drown in your ubiquity. I don't need my eyes for seeing when I can breathe your very being. I always know when you're here with me. I drown in your ubiquity. You're here, you're here, you're here with me. You're here, you're here with me. You're here with me. Hello and welcome to another song from the Witch's House. This evening I am making this film from my bedroom, and I've made films from my bedroom before and I've shown you around to see all my Gothic furniture. I will get David to show you some more pictures of my Gothic bedroom in case you missed one of the earlier films. Apologies for all the noise in the background. It's just hit 7 o'clock and all my clocks are going off. Anyway, the reason why I thought I would make a film in the evening time and also here in my bedroom is because the song that you've just heard is called Summon the Ghost. And this is one of my oldest songs. Played you the song Never Said Goodbye a few films ago, which was the first song that I ever wrote. And that was a song that I wrote about going to my father's funeral. Summon the Ghost was probably about the second or third song that I ever wrote. And it was largely inspired by events involving my deceased father. So the reason why I'm making the film here in my bedroom is because this room used to be my mother's bedroom. And in this room, she saw 2 ghosts on 2 separate occasions. So I'm going back a long, long time. Both of these spectres, if you like, appeared to her in the 1980s. The first one was probably the early 1980s, and the room looked very different to the way it is now. My mum obviously didn't share my Gothic taste, and she had quite conventional furniture in here. And I remember her saying to me that, I think it was one afternoon, she'd been up in her bedroom, her dressing table used to be by the window, and she had a seat obviously in front of the dressing table, and to her right there was a wardrobe and then a chair. And she said directly in front of the chair, sort of head and shoulders above the ground level, she saw a lady, just the head and shoulders of this lady. And she described her as being like a Gainsborough lady. She had a hat on and she was very attractive, and she smiled at my mum. And my mum said, I just kind of smiled at her and I didn't feel at all scared. And I don't know how many seconds or minutes this kind of encounter lasted, but Mum just said, I didn't feel at all scared. I felt like she was there almost watching over me. And I often wonder whether that lady that my mum saw was her spirit guide, because it wasn't long after that my mum went through one of the most challenging times of her life, which was when my dad developed his cancer and became very, very ill. And I think I told you in Never Said Goodbye that obviously he passed away in the summertime, and he passed away at 10:30 in the morning. And I can remember that I had been doing work experience at a solicitor's office, and they came to get me to tell me that Dad had died. And we all came back to this house, and it was the summertime. There'd been a kind of cloud over the house all the time that my dad had been ill. We'd all looked after him at home. He only went into hospital for the last week of his life. And I think that was even before the hospice existed. So he actually died on a ward in hospital. But when we came back to the house, just after we'd got the news that he'd passed away, the whole atmosphere in the house had lifted. And I can just remember having this overwhelming feeling that my dad was going to come back and let us know that he was okay. And I said to my mum, Dad's going to come back. I know he is. He's going to come back and let us know that he's okay. And she said, don't be stupid. I said, I just know that we are going to get some sort of sign or visitation from him. And I was so sure of that. And I was only, 16 at the time. But I was so sure of that, I kept my light on at night. Now, obviously, I like to think that I wouldn't have been scared to see my own dad, but to know that somebody's passed away and they've come back to see you, I wasn't sure how I'd feel. As it happened, I had been stung by a horsefly, and I'd had to take some Piriton tablets because my leg had swollen up, and they always knocked me out. So I actually went to sleep. I think I would have slept through anything. But I'll never forget, because in the morning the next day, my mum came running into my bedroom, the little box room that I showed you in one of the previous films. And she said to me, oh my God, you were right. I said, what do you mean I was right? She said, something woke me up at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And she said, I looked at the bottom of my bed and there was your father. And he looked at the peak of his fitness. He had all of his hair. He was kind of like holding out his hands like that. And she said, he just smiled at me. And she said, I know I wasn't asleep. I know I wasn't dreaming. I was sat up in bed. And she said, I glanced away. And when I turned back, he'd gone. But she said, I know he was there. I know that I saw him. And I just, when you just have that sense of knowing about something, I just knew that that was going to happen. My dad was such a strength of character. He was such a force of being that I knew he would somehow let us know that he was okay. And in a way, that experience and that sense of knowing is what's shaped a lot of the songs that I've written subsequently, because I just feel that there is a world all around us that we can't see. But if you're kind of spiritual, and if you meditate, and if you kind of link into other people's energies, then somehow you can be sensitive to this kind of realm. So there were a few occasions after that where I sensed my dad's presence. My dad used to drink black coffee and he used to smoke cigars. And now and again, I would just get a snatch of a fragrance and I would feel that he was around me. And I suppose in a way, I think your thoughts can summon somebody as well. So it wasn't long after that I sat down and wrote the words for Summon the Ghost. And I think it's one of my favourite songs because I know the story behind it. I'd like to think it's a song that gives comfort to anybody who's bereaved. And in terms of the actual songwriting process, back in those days, David and I didn't sit in the room together to write a song. I would send him some lyrics and give him an idea. And when he sent me what he'd written, because I think I'd gone off to university at that point. Anyway, when he sent it to me, he had just captured so well the feeling that I wanted for the song. I feel like it's got like cathedral organs on it, strings, piano. There's definitely a haunting and gothic feel to it. So that was our song, Summon the Ghost. And now you know the story behind it. And yes, I do believe in ghosts. But you have to remember that most ghostly encounters are not actually seeing an apparition. They are to do with clairsentience, feeling that somebody's present, or catching the fragrance of something, or just a sense of knowing that they're there. Anyway, I won't waffle on. This song is going out, I think it's the second one going out in September on the new moon. So we really are entering the autumn and entering that kind of period in the year where the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest. And I'll be sharing you some more of our ghostly, otherworldly songs as the weeks unravel. But once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to our channel. Our songs are available on Bandcamp should you want to purchase them. I have deliberately shut the dog downstairs today because he always interrupts these films. But when I make the next film, I'll make sure that Bugsy is here. Okay, until we meet again, some witchy magic is coming your way.